On a technical journey through Bitcoin's history, we're going to look from 2017 to today's price action, and we're going to be looking at two levels on the Bitcoin charts, one of them being 7K to 10K. Now we're going to explore this range right now. So the start of the history, we came up to the first green line at 7K roughly, come back down, tried to get through it, couldn't, we failed, and then we broke through it on a ton of volume. Now we then smashed through the upper line and we carried on going, but we did come all the way up to 15,000 before coming down to retest this level at 10K, and then we broke above and then came back down to directly test it again, broke below, returned to the first green line, tried to break above the second green line, couldn't with a wick, broke above it again, but smashed through it, couldn't actually get a few weeks outside of this range, so it came back to test the bottom of the range. Now then we started to test the bottom of this range, but kind of trade just underneath it, which signified a crash, a huge crash. This was 12% and then followed by a 27% week to the downside, followed by a neutral doji candle, followed by another 15% to the downside, followed by another 9% to the downside, where it started to consolidate, and then we came up all the way to the golden pocket of this move. As you can see here, the 0.618, and then this was the COVID crash, right? So it hit the golden pocket, came down to this line, couldn't hold it, crashed through all the way to the bottom of this line before resurging, hitting the top, and then having that COVID crash. If we didn't have that COVID crash, this could have been the bottom of the cycle, pretty much the second bottom, and we could have cup and handled up from there. But we didn't. We had the COVID crash and we came through it. So disregard this candle because we're not going to have another COVID crash this time around. So then our next range is from 41K to 44K roughly. We started the bull market, we came up to it, rebounded off, and we got a few weeks of consolidation before we continued through it. But we actually got a hit off it, it came down a little bit, and then we surged through it on a ton of volume. And then we traded sideways. That's where we hit this top range here, around 69K I think was the top, and we inevitably came down on an M pattern and came down all the way to this range, traded just below this range, we surged up, broke the range, but then we come back down. Where did we come up to after all of these months of consolidation? We came up straight to this range after we started the bull cycle, and we consolidated, and this was the first ever Bitcoin spot approval. We consolidated and we ran upwards. You can see in the previous cycle where we came up to this was the first ever Bitcoin futures spot ETF approval. But inevitably, we are going to come down. Now, most recently, we have been trading within a range, and this range is from around 71K to 57K. So if this M pattern works out, where are we going to come down to? Well, inevitably, down to 44K to test this level and reset ourselves. And while that happens, a bit of time will pass. The 250-day moving average will come upwards, and then we will most likely test the 50 or the 200 weekly moving average on the weekly, somewhere in between this range, perhaps September, October, November, December time, bottom out then, and then altcoin season will be on. These two ranges, these hidden gem of ranges, price does tend to reverse back to these levels, and nobody will expect it. I will be, but nobody's going to expect this. 98% of people will not expect this move down to 44k to 41k. Be prepared for it, take advantage of it, and make yourself at least the starting foundations of what's going to be your portfolio for this altcoin season that's coming up. Make sure they include good utility, a strong team, and a unique selling point that makes them different. One shout out, Elderrune. Elderrune is an RPG blockchain-based game, which the whole game is basically an AI. So all the characters in the game think they're real. They know their birthdays. They know about the different characters around. They are literally the most real characters you can get in any game, in a sense, right? And that's exactly what blockchain games is meant to do. It's meant to fully immerse you in the gaming world and make it more real than it's ever been. And I believe Elderrune does that. It also the gaming environment adapts to the player, your player style and what you've experienced in the game. The whole game is AI. It's absolutely insane. Gaming, RPG, AI, blockchain. It's all got it there, and it's interoperable. It's using I believe Ethereum, BNB, Avalanche, Matic right now as well. So it's building with these big chains that are far more established. But Elderrune, it's been in the works for 6 years. They've been working on it for 6 years. It's just became a blockchain in the last couple of years, and it's just been listed on Mexi and these big exchanges only a few months ago. So price exploration for this cryptocurrency is the potential absolutely insane. So wait for Bitcoin to bottom out, but DCA in slowly, not financial advice, but DCA, dollar cost average in all the way down, get more aggressive as we fall into this range. Pretty straightforward if you control your emotions. So looking at a trajectory, we can most likely say we're going to consolidate, and then we're going to go much higher. I would say from January 2025 to September 2025, somewhere in this range between 250k to around 400k, somewhere in that range, I reckon Bitcoin will top out. And that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe.